Hello. Can you hear me, John?
Hello, all you cool cats and kittens.
Oh my gosh. I think you might still have some audio up, John, maybe?
Oh, I think I do. Yeah, I'm just
Yeah,
gonna
let's
close
turn that
that
off.
off. Yeah, don't need that. Don't
Just
need
making
two
sure
audio.
just making
You
sure
don't need.
things were working.
You only need one audio at once, not two audio at once.
Right
That's
on.
what I've learned. That's the tech that James you've taught me over the course of this
We're
deal.
holding it together. I
We
uh
are.
I got a glass here, John. You know,
Well,
I've
good for
been
you.
I've been good. I haven't
No
been
energy
on
drinks
the
thus
energy
far.
drinks,
What are you doing
but
now?
today I thought I would taste test the
Oh,
Coca-Cola Energy.
wow. Wow. Do you need that? Do you really need that in your life? Don't you have enough energy as it is? I think anybody out there, maybe back me up out there in comment land. If anybody's seen James play live, particularly on his fiddle, banjo too, but on his fiddle, tell me, does he really need an energy drink? Like, does he really need any extra adrenaline coursing through his veins? Look at him, right to the top too, eh? Right to the top. All right, James. All right. Have you got a defibrillator nearby, just in case?
I have to
Just like,
be okay. Before I do that, I have to say, Amy is in here again. Amy, I want to pronounce it properly, but Amy 98. Excuse me. I hope that I pronounced that properly. She streams on Twitch. If
yes,
anybody knows about Twitch, and streams a bunch of different stuff, a lot of some reptile content, but also some games. She's hosted us a couple times now, but she has a she is a friend of ours that we met overseas when we were playing in England, and we might have mentioned her before. But we want to thank you, Amy, for doing that and hosting the stream as many times as you
absolutely.
have. She now is affiliate on there, and she can get subs on Twitch, so she's doing great stuff over
Sweet.
there.
Mary
Yeah.
Lynn and Linda Rob, they both say, James, that you don't need it, and I concur. I concur. There's enough adrenaline in that fiddle bow of yours that just that keeps you going. But here he is. He's trying it. So
I
I'll tell you
was
what. In 20 minutes, we're gonna know how this
I knew that'd get Linda just right,
is fired
just
up.
fired up.
Trish
That's
is
perfect.
coming in from
I
Kingston.
have to be
Hi,
honest.
Trish.
I have to be honest. I taste tested one last night, and this was the two for whatever. You know how they have deals at
Right. Is that?
the. I want to
Yeah.
make sure that this is.
Well,
But
okay. Speaking of,
so let
look,
me
you're set your camera up. I'm
kind of.
just
Smells like Coke, but it also smells kind of floral, John.
floral. I don't know about that, man. What's that? How's that going for
Must
you?
be the guaranan. Guaranan.
If you
Anybody know how
can't
to say
pronounce
that?
it, it's a problem. Just so you know, if you can't pronounce it, it's a problem.
That's how taste
Okay.
testers do it, though. Did you know?
I'm particularly proud of my set this week. You got to give me props, James. You know, I spent. This was one of my big projects this week was getting a set up here for off road. I've got this finally mounted on the wall. You've always wanted that. I've got Coal Miner's Daughter record back here, and of course, Petey the Owl is with me, and I've got my hat. Snake plant can't go without, and it's putting me in a really confident kind of vibe. I think I just feel like I'm in the right space.
That's good. I think it looks good. I think your lighting's decent. I don't think people may be as interested in that, but I'm proud of you, John,
Well,
and
thanks,
I
James.
appreciate
Trim
you
my beard.
pulling your weight.
Trim my beard.
Amy's in here. Amy Schubert. She says hi from Picton. Sorry if I pronounced your last name incorrectly.
Fantastic. You know, I love
Um,
Picton. Picton's a great town. I know we've talked about performing at the Regent Theater in Picton in the past. The one thing about Picton though is and it's good for pedestrians, I will say, but driving through it can take you an extra 20 minutes because every single courtesy crossing in Picton, it's a slow drive through Picton. But you know what? I don't mind that because Picton's a gorgeous town, and any extra time you can spend in Picton is a good day. So, shout out to folks in Picton. Thanks for jumping on.
Linda says this gets worse, and I love Coke. Um, and Amy 98 thinks you look very Instagrammable.
Oh, nice,
So,
nice. Yeah. Well, that makes me
um,
feel really good.
yeah.
I don't often feel that way, so that's a good feel. Thank you
I
very
will
much for that.
say, it's kind of just a weird tasting Coke. I know, John,
It's a
you
floral.
wanted to move away from the taste testing bit. I
I like the taste
surprised you
testing
with
bit.
it.
I like it.
And I thought I would just do that. Now,
I'll tell
I
you what I'm
definitely,
taste testing, James, before we move off of that. This is what it tastes like if you don't properly clean out your mug off after the coffee you had this morning,
yeah,
and then you fill it up with water to have during the podcast. It's like water with a hint of old coffee. It's not a good it's not a good deal. So
yeah, that's
just
not good.
heads up, wash out your mugs before you use them with water. I just was in a rush.
Um, I had a scary incident this week. I
Really?
it was nighttime and I one of the cats was meowing. Um,
Okay.
and I was wondering. I thought,
That's every
why are
night
you
for you
trying?
though, isn't it?
No, well, he's smart enough to know not to try to go outside
Right.
when it's dark out. So, but he's meowing at the door, and I go, "Oh, I'll have to go outside and see what's going on."
Right.
So I go outside, and cold out. It's cold up here, eh, Johnny?
It's been very cold this week. Brutal
And
cold.
I I'm looking around. I don't see anything, and I can hear just all of a sudden just a little bit of a wing flutter, you know.
Yeah.
And I decide to look up, and all of a sudden I realize,
Those sparrows back in your chimney? Is that remember you had a
no,
sparrow nest
I
last
did
year?
have that issue before.
That was a
I have
big.
a
You got a
pretty like a
problem with
larger tree, right?
right?
And
Yeah,
all of
yeah.
a
Oh,
sudden I
that
look up.
huge tree out
There's a
back. Yeah,
bigger
yeah,
tree, yeah.
yeah.
And it's just filled with crows, like from the Birds. You know the movie, The Birds.
Yeah, I do. It was one of the first
And
horror
it
movies I ever
literally
watched. I
was
was
just
terrified
like
as a
it
kid.
just blacked out the sky. It was just,
No.
yeah, it was terrifying. So
Oh my
I've
goodness.
heard that that might be a bad omen. If
How
omen,
many
you know,
crows, James? Like, are we talking
I
10
would
crows
say
or
no, I would say probably closer to 30.
30 crows
I
is
think it was
intimidating.
30.
Were they all cawing at the same time? Like,
No, they were quiet. That was weird. And then
that's worse.
yeah, they
That's
were just
way
because they
worse.
were settling in, I guess, for the night. But
Just staring at you. Just all the crows staring at you. That's horrifying, man. What's the deal? And was your cat just kind of
do
pawing
you
at
remember
the
that movie though, The Birds?
Yeah, I do. Alfred Hitchcock. Definitely definitely a classic of his. I certainly studied a little bit of Alfred Hitchcock in film school, but that was the first horror movie that I was ever allowed to watch. I don't know if you remember that, James. I don't know. Did you see it? Our Aunt Morgan, Marcel, she's actually, for anybody who wants to check her out, Morgan Marcel, she is a fantastic Broadway actress, dancer. She was the dance captain and one of the original cast members of Hamilton on Broadway. She was on Moulin Rouge, and of course, that's all on pause right now during COVID. Um, but she, our aunt, right, James? But she's more like a cousin and sort of
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
distant sister because she's only about a year and a half older than me.
That was the
And
last trip I went to see her in Moulin Rouge, and
right,
yeah, that's the last trip before everything shut down, and I'm glad I went
well,
because
she's so cool, and she was always cool when we were young. Like you know those relatives that are a year or a year and a half older than you, but they know way more than you. Like there's a massive age gap when you're like 12 and 13, it seems, or 10 and 11, and so she was like, "Have you not seen the birds?" And I think I was 10 or something. And
oh, I
she's like,
didn't
"Have you
realize
not seen
that's
the
where
birds?"
that came from.
Yeah, and I was like, "No, what's that?" And she said, you should see that." And so I convinced dad to rent the birds and we brought it home. It was for we always had, by the way, for anybody out there, a tradition in our Abrams family household was Friday night family night, and every Friday night we'd unplug the phone. For all the Gen Z kids out there, they don't know what unplugging a phone means. But anyway, we'd unplug the phone, the landline that we had, and we'd get dill pickle chips and salt and vinegar chips, and we'd watch movies on Friday night together as a family in the living room, and that was every Friday night. And one night was the birds, and I've never been the same since, James. And now you're just bringing back some seriously traumatic memories. This
Eliza says, "How do you sleep at night when you drink all that energy drink, James?" As I said, I haven't been drinking energy drinks, but
I don't think the birds might not exist. I think James has conjured this up because of the energy drinks.
I haven't been drinking them. Is what I'm saying.
Well, that's what he
Um,
says. That's what he
but
says.
yeah, another reason why, just to end this off, and we're gonna move on. We got a lot to talk about
We do.
that's
It's a
happened
good
this week,
week.
but um, I wanted to taste test it, John, because I've seen this guy on YouTube. I think the slang term for him is called review bra,
Review bra.
BRAH, and
BRAH. Yeah. Like, hey, bro.
but
Bruh.
his channel is Report of the Week, and he has over 200 million views taste testing fast
Wow.
food. So
That's it.
I thought I might as well
It
fast
all
food,
comes back to
energy
fast food.
drinks, fast food. You know what I'm saying? So
That's your
I thought
thing.
I might as well just do that. Okay, moving on. A big thing this week that I was watching was obviously football. I'm sure
Oh, yeah.
that people in the U.S. or around the world maybe were
Super Bowl
watching
coming
American
up.
football. I couldn't believe that that Tom Brady. I guess it was maybe was it yeah it was yesterday. Is going back to the Super Bowl. It's his 10th Super Bowl.
He's the
You know.
GOAT. He's the GOAT, man.
Okay.
Come on, I gotta
Um.
drop that. It's true though. It's
But
true.
I just after as we've sort of been following along the last couple of weeks that the Patriots didn't make the playoffs, and then he takes a different team. Now they were pretty good last year, Tampa Bay, I guess. I think they made the playoffs. I'm pretty sure. Again, I'm not like hockey is more my wheelhouse. I say this every week, but for facts and all that stuff for football, it's more just kind of surface level. But I've finding that story of watching Tom Brady go back to the Super Bowl with a different
Can you
team was
believe it?
pretty crazy.
It's
Without
crazy.
Belichick is pretty wild. So that was
It's crazy.
pretty exciting. Conor
How
McGregor
many
was
rings will that
fighting.
be if they win? How many rings is that now?
I think he's won 6 or something. So I
Oh
guess
my
maybe
goodness, that's
7.
crazy. At some point, do they
Yeah,
have the
I get
same value? Like
fact
at
check
some
me.
point, is it kind of like 7? Oh, it's one for every day of the week. Like I got to round off my seventh.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Um,
I don't know, man.
I want to
That's
catch up
incredible.
here.
I just wonder if one really does get desensitized to the
Alistair's in
Super Bowl.
here. He also goes by Obadiah. So Alistair.
Right?
Um,
Awesome.
Tony. Sorry, I'm getting back. Read this, and then John was talking about some stuff.
I
So,
rambled.
30 crows is a murder. He says.
That's right.
So
That's what you call a flock of crows. It's a murder of crows. Did
yeah.
you know
Well, he
that?
says 30 crows. That is
Yeah.
really terrifying.
So a group of crows is a murder of crows, like a
Oh,
pride of
I see it. Not
lions.
specific.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Pride of
Yeah. I see.
lions, flock of like a murder of crows is the
My
grouping
goodness.
terminology. Isn't that horrible?
John's
Oh,
back from South Carolina, and Nico's in
fantastic.
here.
Right on,
Um,
Nico.
Another
Good
thing
to have
was
everybody back.
I watched was uh, McGregor fighting. That didn't go long, and
Right.
he lost. Did you see that,
Right.
John?
I didn't see that. No,
So the
I didn't watch
UFC,
the McGregor
Conor
fight.
McGregor, obviously one of
No
the
way.
highest. Yeah, he lost.
He's had a couple
So
tough
that's
losses
twice
though.
now.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and yeah, I've just been watching. Well, one thing I watched last night, and it's kind of been a theme of mine, John.
Hmm.
Been a theme of mine. Well, speaking of the movie nights, right? You're talking about movie night.
Friday night family night. Yeah. That was what we call it.
Those mics carry your voice is great for your podcast. Great tone. Thanks, Tony.
Oh, nice. Thank you,
Appreciate
Tony.
that.
Also, Tony from down east,
Yeah.
cousin of ours. Shout out to Tony, fantastic musician, songwriter. We've had him on the chat before, and I have fond memories of being down. I remember I was about 3 years old down east. We have a lot of, and we actually have. We're going to talk about this in a bit. I won't jump ahead, James, but we have sort of a maritime slash sea theme to a lot of the things we're talking about today
We are
on
jumping
the
ahead a little bit.
podcast.
Yeah.
I'm not going to jump ahead, but I just wanted to
Well,
say,
it was kind of
Tony
what I was
down
just about
east.
to get to about how I've kind of been on this kick of ocean kind of sea
That's right.
vibe.
And
Trish,
it's in our blood because we've got family in Amherst, Nova Scotia.
That's true.
And great musicians in the family down there, and so a big shout out to them down there for being such support over the years.
Trish McIsaac says hi from Kingston. I'm sorry that I responded a little later to that, but I also see someone saying Megan Gibson says hi from Toronto. That's awesome.
Oh, right on.
So it's nice to kind of know where people are from,
Yeah.
and Amy earlier had said hi from Picton. So
Right.
it's nice that you guys are kind of checking in from where you're at geographically. But I've been kind of just on this. Thanks, Craig, for liking the stream.
Uncle Craig, we've
Uncle
got lots
Craig.
of family on here. This is great. I love it.
I've been on this kind of well, I have to say, so the movie nights, let's take it to that first.
Yeah.
That kind of line of thinking. So we watched, and you guys can help us out in the chat of some movies you saw when maybe you were younger, or that stand out in your minds. But a lot of the ocean kind of related movies that I watched as a kid made me just terrified of the ocean. To be honest, like I wasn't I up until this point have kind of been mainly a lake guy. I like the lakes. Rivers are fine.
Sure.
Rivers a little
Smaller
cold,
bodies of water.
colder, a little colder.
Yeah.
You know, they take because the
Ponds.
yeah.
James, you're a pond
Oh
guy.
yeah, lakes.
Yeah.
You can get the ice skating in the winter. That's
As long
right,
as you
John.
can
That's
see
another pro.
shore, anywhere you are
You can
on the
swim to
body of water, as long
safety.
as you can see shore, is that kind of your gauge?
Yeah, and you know now that we're saying all the pros of the lake, I still think that that's yeah it's a little higher on my list. But anyways, we don't need to. That's kind of
Neither
it's
here nor there.
it's counterproductive to my point here.
Right.
Um, so I've you know what movies, John? We watched The Perfect
Well,
Storm.
I mean a
Uh,
big ocean one was I was obsessed with Castaway.
Castaway.
I was obsessed with the
Wilson.
movie Castaway when I was
Wilson.
11, and nobody in my class got it, right? Like I was like, no, this is it. And they're like, he doesn't talk for the whole movie, and I was like, no, no,
Okay, and
no,
Mum rolls
no,
in
no.
here. Mum
I'm
rolls in here
telling you,
with some. Of course, there's the traumatic. Oh, traumatic ocean memories. I thought she
traumatic
was.
ocean memories. Yes.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, Castaway was a one that touched my heart. There's nothing like that film,
yeah,
and
and
the fact
Wilson,
that
the volleyball. Remember
yeah, and
Wilson?
that Tom Hanks can carry an entire film talking to a volleyball is absolutely remarkable. But
I've had a little change of
terrifying
heart. Is
though.
the point
Always,
here?
I think about it. Listen, I think about that movie anytime you and I are on tour in Europe or over in Israel or the UK. Whenever we travel over there, there's not a time that I'm flying over the ocean that I don't think about that movie. I promise you, that's true. So
Got to bring
it's
up the
and we had it on
doctor.
VHS, and I used to watch it on repeat. It was a good one. But yeah, we that and
That and the Perfect Storm. That was with
Perfect Storm was
Clooney. Who else was in
yeah,
that? Was
George
it Mark
Clooney,
Wahlberg?
Mark Wahlberg,
Oh,
Marky Mark. Great film. Terrifying about the ocean though. It really, kind of ruined
so
you.
one thing that kind of has been changing my mind. Okay, so I've kind of had a change of heart.
Mhm.
Um, not that I dislike the ocean, but I just have been, wary of it. And one thing that changed my mind a little bit was watching My Octopus Teacher, John. Now, you watched this, didn't you?
Oh,
It's on Netflix.
absolutely love that documentary. I cried. Like Alex and I watched it and we both just sobbed at the end of it.
Well, I
I don't
have
know.
some issues with it, but
Did you?
yeah, I have some
I'd be
issues.
interested to hear that. I think it was
You're okay
fascinating.
if you think that we're gonna spoil this for people?
Well, I mean, I don't
This
know.
part of
Maybe
it,
it's been out long enough, I guess.
yeah.
But
I'll say this. I'll try to keep it, but I my issue I think with it is I respect the idea that in some parts he's trying to let the ocean be the ocean, right? He doesn't
right,
want to
right,
interfere. But come on. The 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 octopus is his friend. You got to do
right,
something
right,
for the
right, right,
octopus.
right. I mean, he's visiting the octopus every day. Oh yeah,
You
in the
got to do
circumstance. Yeah,
something.
I gotcha. I mean,
Plus, he
he's
makes
trying to be a passive observer, but at the same time, like he's like swimming with it and stuff. At what point do you
has
stop
anybody
being a
seen this?
passive?
The Octopus Teacher? Let us know in the chat. If
Yeah,
anybody's seen this.
I take a less pessimistic view than James. I mean,
Well, can you let me finish here?
devastated by that movie. Yeah, you go ahead. You
Okay,
finish. You
so
finish. Yeah,
he
no.
makes the point that one of the morals kind of at the end is that, this octopus help him learn that he's not just an observer, but that he's a part of the whole
Right.
ecosystem.
That's right.
And so if you're a
Right.
part of the ecosystem, you're already impacting it anyways. I hope
Sure.
this isn't going in and out. It was doing that last time. But so
Correct.
anyways, I just that was a sidebar. That was not really
Yeah,
the
but you make a good point, James, because I mean,
he's
and
already
everybody,
impacting the
for context, I mean, obviously you have a biology background, right? I mean, that you studied biology
yeah, let's
university
not
there.
but that's not why I'm making this
No, but I
argument.
mean that you come at it with a bit of a different angle than I do. I certainly enjoyed studying sciences and biology in high school, but you have a more advanced degree in that. And so I'm
Yeah, I'm
looking
not
at it
making
though
that
as
decision at all based on that though.
okay, interesting. Well, anyway, I'm watching it as a filmmaker and I see the narrative of the thing.
Mm.
And I think it's just amazing to be able to pull that kind of a like really poignant and emotional narrative out of a documentary
Yeah,
and
no,
just the
that was a
commitment that
lot.
the
I
guy
couldn't believe
had.
that.
So definitely, you know what? Watch My Octopus Teacher. Anybody out there who has Netflix, go check it out. Let us know what you think about it. I thought it was a fantastic story, but I know what you mean, James, about at some point the line between him being involved and him being a passive observer is broken down. And so you
Well,
wonder to what extent he has a
if
responsibility.
anybody hasn't seen it, let's just make clear
Keeping it high
why this
level.
is relevant here. No, but
Yeah.
why it's
Oh yeah.
relevant.
Yeah.
it's really quite a cool thing because it's like you learn that this octopus that he's interacting with is like it's like so they're so brilliant, man, and how they
Oh,
can
it's incredible.
and how they really can have a connection with you almost like a dog or a cat. I mean, that's what I think he equated their intelligence to is about a dog or a cat.
It's
And
incredible. I never knew that.
I didn't look that up to see. I'm assuming that's true. But so when it's like it knows him and it's like comes in like basically hugs him several times.
Yeah.
It's you got it. Listen, if there's something happening to your dog, are you going to save
Oh
the
yeah,
dog?
sure. No, that's a good point. And for anybody who hasn't
A
seen it,
whole year.
Broad
Anyways.
Strokes, the guy, and as James just mentioned, the filmmaker goes and he swims every single day in the ocean in this one little spot with this octopus for an entire year, right? And so documents every single day of their relationship developing. And I had no clue that they were so intelligent. And anyway, Jess, I see a comment from
Yeah,
Jess
it
on
is
the
live.
stream. It is live.
Yeah,
This
right
is
on.
live every 5:30 every Monday night. And so if you have any questions, we are here for you.
So I watched it in VR, John. Sorry, were you about to say something?
Whoa, VR. Now that's
Well,
amazing.
we've
You watched the
mentioned
whole thing.
yeah. Well, we watched the well, not it's not virtual reality like I'm in the ocean,
No,
but
but you still
it's
would
like
be
I'm in a
more
theater.
immersed in it.
I'm
Yeah.
like in a theater. Yeah, so that was really cool. I've been watching some stuff in that, and this is a little sidebar, but it's kind of like quite an escape to feel like you're in a theater again,
Yeah.
and like
Sure.
there's other people that can jump into the theater and watch it, and like you can like turn and wave at them and stuff. It's pretty crazy.
Oh no,
Um,
I have it like the Avatar people in there. Like it's weird to be in another space. And I mean, just particularly with that documentary, being in a dark theater environment, watching it, which I mean, nobody has that opportunity really because it's a Netflix film, right? So you're usually just sitting at home watching it, right? But now, James, did it enhance or settle? What's a better way to put it? Did it make worse your fear of the
no,
ocean,
no, no,
or
no.
did it
It
make you fear it less?
well, when I watch uh called the Earth movies, Planet Earth. When I watch those, it makes me more
Oh yeah,
inspired about the ocean than
yeah,
afraid
fair.
of it. But particularly that, I was like, oh my goodness, the fact that this guy has this emotional connection with an octopus made me, wish that I kind of have spent some more time in the ocean in that way, kind of snorkeling or.
Sure.
So that's a
Yeah, yeah.
natural thing.
You got lots of
But that's
life
only
left, James.
one. That's only
We're also
one.
not talking about the deep ocean, though. I mean, there's a big difference between the deep ocean, middle of the ocean, being on a boat like in the perfect storm, and being on the edge of the coast there where Buddy was swimming with the octopus. For you, I would
Yeah.
think,
So,
right?
anyways, that was one of. That's true. There's only one of my things that have kind of been tipping me over the edge. We got Nada Tui in here. I think I said that right, saying hi. And he had a pet snail, or he or she. They had a pet snail. Uh, and
I
this
just
story
read that.
reminds them of that, which is awesome.
Yeah, I
Um,
saw it
oh,
ended
but
up
it got
getting
baked apparently.
baked into a snail dish.
Love
That's
it.
I will say watching Octopus Teacher, like I used to really
Hope
enjoy
that
eating
didn't
octopus at
happen.
a particular restaurant, and it's going to be a while before I can eat octopus again. That's for sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I was watching that in VR, and it was pretty wild to just kind of be in that world. But on top of that, this week I watched Muppets Treasure Island. You remember that, John?
Oh, classic. Love that movie.
Yeah, that was it's.
Oh,
Now it's probably just nostalgic for me. I mean, when you watch it, those puppets and stuff are pretty.
yeah, it's more than that though. I mean, I find that there is something so deeply funny about the Muppets. Like I just like beyond there's some sort of like humor that's on another level. I mean, Muppet Christmas Carol, watched it again over the Christmas break, and I laugh out loud. And I've seen that movie like 15 times or something. And I find that with now I haven't seen Treasure Island in a while. What did it bring back for you, James?
Well, I appreciate in those Muppets movies how they do often like in Disney movies sometimes. The one aspect of having some jokes that you might not have picked up as a kid,
Right.
and then you go
Of
back.
course. Totally.
And there are some moments where it's like there are some interactions between different characters that are just a little wild. Like when I watch it, I'm like, I can't believe they would put this in a kids movie, but it was great. So that aspect of it kind of was like a different, gave me a different watching experience or viewing experience of
I
that.
just like the way their heads are always bobbing,
Yeah, 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 yeah,
like you know what I
yeah.
mean? Like there's just something so like the physical humor of the Muppets. It stirs something in the soul that's hard to replicate. But yeah, no, I'm gonna have to watch. I've
So
been
I've kind
meaning
of
to
been
click it.
that with Ocean and the Pirates thing has definitely been something that in the last couple weeks I've been getting to and doing that brought up some memories of when we were younger, right, John? When we particularly when we were down recording one of our first records, right?
Yes. Oh, Billy Hines, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Is that what you're, oh yeah. So for anybody who has gone dug back into James and I into our back catalog of music, we did an album in 2007, released it in 2007, 2008, called Blue on Brown. It was a tribute to Arlo Guthrie and Bob Dylan's music. And so basically half the record were Arlo Guthrie covers and half the record were Bob Dylan covers. And I don't think we've ever mentioned this on air or in any interviews, but we got the idea to do that from a guy named Billy Hines. Now, Billy Hines was a really close friend of the guy who ran and owned the studio in the shadow of the Blue Ridge Mountains near Luray, Virginia, where James and I recorded our first couple records and with our family, right in the Shenandoah Valley. So if you look it up, it's absolutely gorgeous near Luray. We recorded at Blue Ridge Recording Studio, and Mike Ketchum, who he has passed on since then, but Mike was a very dear friend of ours, became a very close friend of ours. He ran the studio, and he had this friend named Billy Hines, who was actually Hank Williams Jr.'s guitar player for 10 years. The guy had toured with all kinds of people. He was this legend of a player, really good friends with Johnny Depp, right, James? And
Well, of course,
he
the Pirates of the Caribbean really big then, right?
that's right,
And
because
stuff.
he owned a
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
three-masted
yeah.
ship, and they used one of his three-masted ships in the Black Pearl film, like the original Pirates of the Caribbean film. And remember, like we were blown away by that. And this guy used to go on these hangout trips with Johnny Depp on these three-masted ships, and Billy literally looked like a pirate. He'd walk in the room. He looked like a mix of uh, Jimmy Buffett and Toby Keith and like Jack Sparrow. I mean, the guy had the tattoos and the crazy like decorative wristbands and the bandana and long bleached hair down to here, and he had like a pirate beard, and like you'd never. This guy
Yeah,
was
he's
right out
cool.
of a comic book, and so Billy gave us the idea for Blue on Brown, and we never did get a chance to go on his three-masted ship. But hopefully, if Billy's still out there, he maybe catches this someday, and we can maybe go for a sail. Because now James isn't afraid of the ocean, so that's for sure. But good memories, eh, James? Recording
Yeah,
at Blue Ridge Studio, like that. Those are memories we just will never forget.
yeah. Nada Tui asks if we ever played a flugelhorn. I'm not sure about that.
No, didn't. We've never played flugelhorn.
Love it.
I
I
don't
love
really
the
know what a
comments. It's
flugelhorn
good.
looks like. Like I've never seen a flugelhorn. Like I hear about it, but I've never actually seen one. I'm gonna have to do some research on that.
Amy responded to Jess. Thanks, Amy, for doing that. Yeah, we're a band. This is great on Twitch. We can get exposed to some newer people, and it's great.
That's awesome.
We grew up playing bluegrass music, primarily bluegrass and
Right.
gospel music, and then we predominantly play country music now with kind of a blend of everything. Um, do you want
On
to add
the
anything to that, John?
Well, no, I mean James,
Yeah, we play we play
you
music.
for anybody who's never joined us before, we're the fourth generation in our family out on the road touring and playing music. And the reason we started this live stream podcast is because James and I, we drive our own tour bus when we're out on tour with the guys, and we sit up at the front of the bus when we're on the road, and we just talk, James and I, back and forth, telling stories, making each other
Thanks, Debbie.
laugh. And so we thought, why don't off road, we do the same thing and get to sort of bring you into our living room
Yep.
and hang out with you. And you can kind of hear stories from the road and from off the road,
And we
and
plan on bringing it on the road with us when we're able to go
we
back
do,
out and do
we
that.
do. But
So
actually,
let's get
on
to
that point,
yeah.
sorry, go ahead, James.
Well, let's get to the big reason why I've come around to appreciating the ocean and some of this pirate stuff, some of the songs. Obviously fiddle playing because I play the violin and play fiddle. There's a lot of songs that were brought over, across the ocean and whatnot. And there's such a kind of inherent connection between those kind of two things. Would you agree
So
with me,
true.
John?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I
Um,
mean,
but one of the big things why I think that it's kind of on the top of my mind is because of that sort of TikTok trend that you sent to me, John. There's some news
the
stories
sea
about
the
yeah.
sea
How about you
shanties.
talk about this a little bit?
Yeah, no, okay. So you got to pull up the video because it's the best way to show
All
how
right.
this thing built. I think the beautiful thing about country music, we talked a little bit about this in the past, but country music and bluegrass music, mountain music, and now sea shanty music, certainly Irish, Scottish fiddle tunes. It's all about collaboration, right? It's all about building upon something that somebody has played before, and then taking it further and creating new variations. And that's really how country music was born with the Carter family and Jimmy Rogers at the very beginning. And so this guy Nathan, he's a Scottish guy. He was a mailman, and he just did this the Wellerman sea shanty, which is a old New Zealand sailor song actually, and it's about the Weller brothers shipping company that would bring sugar and tea and rum to the workers, and that's how the workers. I think that's how they got paid. You'll have to not quote me on that one, but it's a this old sort of maritime sound. And of course, there's been lots of different people who do this kind of thing over the years. James and I have had the opportunity to perform with Alan Doyle. Alan is a fantastic musician and songwriter, and certainly we've done a little bit of sharing the stage there. And Great Big Sea is a great example of maritime, a lot of sea shanty influence in their music. So that kind of gives you an idea of what it's like. But this guy Nathan in Scotland did this Wellerman sea shanty, just like with his fist pounding on the table, singing it, and then TikTok is very collaborative, right? So people started layering harmonies, and then eventually a remix came just organically out of thin air. So you got to play the video, James, because it shows the development of this
All
sea
right.
shanty.
Is this the right video?
Yeah, this guy, this mailman from Scotland, just got it all
Okay.
started, and go for it.
You can hear it?
Yeah.
Okay.
The winds blew up her bow, dipped down below my billy boys blow. Soon may the wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave.
So they remixed a bunch of this, or what's
Yeah,
the?
wait, yeah.
May the wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea
Thanks,
and
Obadiah.
rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. She had not been 2 weeks from shore when down on her
So people just added as they went.
Captain called all hands and swore he'd take that whale in tow. Soon may the wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. Was a ship that put to sea, the name of the ship was a Billy of Tea. The winds blew up her bow, dipped down below my bully boys blow. Soon may the wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. Soon may the wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go.
I've seen this cat meme before.
2 weeks from shore and down under a right whale bore. The captain called all hands and swore he'd take that whale in tow. Soon may the wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. Before the boat had hit the water, the
Okay,
whales
so
took
that
tail
I
up and caught her
just try and get that out of your head. Like that. Also, I think it's such a great example. And James, you and I try and do this I know we've talked a lot about this live and in our records. We try and bring that sense of tradition and old timiness and put it into a modern context. And that's exactly what's happened here, right? Like it just came out of thin air. And this guy Nathan, the guy slamming his fist, mailman, he just quit his job this week because he got signed to Polydor Records, and he's like, you should see his video online. He's like, I never imagined this would happen, and so he's just, he's sort of living the dream. But such a great example of that kind of tradition infused into a modern context, and I haven't been able to get that song in my head all week.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Megan says Alan Doyle recently joined TikTok to sing more sea shanties too. That's good for him
Excellent.
jumping on that.
That's awesome.
Somebody
awesome.
tipped him off. He's perfect for doing that kind of stuff.
Well, I was big into I mean, James, you were too, but seeing how this maritime sound has influenced music over the years, surf rock, I was big into that. And it was actually
Right.
Billy Hines who, and we were talking about him just a minute ago. Billy sold me 3 guitars when I was 15 years old, and they're 3 Fender custom shop guitars all at once for, like, you'll never believe the price. It was just an absolutely insanely low price. Just basically gave them to me, and said, I want them to go to a good home. These guitars were on the road with Hank too, and a bunch of different people, and so I got really into electric guitar at Blue Ridge Studio, as you recall, James. And when we were recording those first couple records at Blue Ridge Studio in Virginia, we used to have our old tour bus parked outside, right? And I remember going out onto the bus, and we couldn't run the generator to run the air conditioning because it would be too loud for the studio. The studio was like an old house, right? And so I would go out in the 100-degree heat and sit on the bus and listen to the Beach Boys for as long as I could stand the heat, and then go into the air conditioning inside until I got cooled down, and then go back out to the bus, listen for as long as I could to the Beach Boys. And, Good Vibrations, Sloop John B, Wouldn't It Be Nice? James, like, I remember you and I really digging Beach Boys records at the time.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. It was one of our babysitters, right, that had first told us about the Beach Boys, which was
That's
pretty.
right, Kate.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
she loved the Beach Boys, and then we kind of, as we got older, started to understand a little bit more why. But I do remember you doing that, and I think it was mainly you. I was inside watching what's that war? Band of Brothers.
Oh, you're watching Band of Brothers inside. You and I had ways of decompressing.
Yeah.
I remember outside of the studio, because I mean, we were like 9 and how old were we? Like 10 and 13 or something. I mean, we're kids, and we thought we were so grown up then, but we look back, we were just little guys, and we had to get away and decompress after, doing all of our recording parts. But I just love the Beach Boys harmonies. That's what drew me in. The harmonies and the writing about, like teenage love and stuff like that. And so it's so cool to see this maritime and beach thing come back so many different times over the course of
Oh,
music.
and you mentioned it earlier, but Jimmy Buffett, I mean, he he's another example of making a whole career basically on that.
Oh, I just want to live like Jimmy Buffett. I know we've talked about that, but I know you do, James. Just live on a beach somewhere, particularly, locked up here in the frozen gold. It's it's the life. But anyway, so that was just sort of something that was a really special memory we wanted to share with you today. Was the oddest thing growing up recording in Virginia, and then having this kind of, we were a long way from the coast there, but we had this sort of maritime influence into what we were doing then. And of
Sorry,
course,
I just
James
got a
over
message
there.
from our mom that said apparently she was disabled, but I did not do. She
She was disabled out of
from
out of the
commenting.
stream. No, how? Oh my
Mom,
goodness.
there's no way that you're
There's no way we
disabled. I
locked
mean,
you out of
we're
the,
the only ones who
yeah,
have control,
yeah.
and
There's
I
no way we
didn't.
locked you out.
Well,
Yeah.
I didn't respond to her. I meant to, but I believe you were talking at the time, but she was talking about me having the talking about Eliza saying that I shouldn't be drinking the energy
energy
drink. So
drink.
sorry. But
Our
anyways,
mother is a nurse practitioner,
I
James. She
don't
knows
know
what she's
how
talking about.
she
Yeah.
I don't know how she got disabled.
We
Apparently,
locked her out.
they banned our mom.
Yeah. Okay,
There's our
Facebook.
clip. There's our clip
Mom,
for the
it's
week,
Facebook.
John. We banned our mom from watching.
We
There
banned
we
our
go.
mom from watching. That's
Um,
rough.
so yeah, no. So that was the sea shanties was definitely when you sent that to me. I've kind of been on this kick of this ocean stuff. I ended up went down a YouTube vortex of I saw learned about Blackbeard. Never knew about Blackbeard. I don't know if we
Ooh.
need to bring that video up. Probably not. But learned about that there was some book that apparently is the main resource on all the. It was like in the 1700s. Some main resource on. It's like the history of pirates or something. So
Whoa,
there's
no
a bunch of stuff
way.
I learned. Yeah, but
Wow.
Blackbeard, I didn't realize. Probably people do, but he stuck like the wicks of I don't know, whatever you'd want to blow up, and he would stick them in his hair or in his hat or whatever, and he
Oh,
would
in his
light them to
beard.
scare people.
Yeah,
And apparently
that's wild.
he didn't kill or hurt anybody that's on record.
Wow.
During his I think it was only 2 years that he was kind of
Most peaceful
terrorizing.
pirate.
Well, no, apparently he just was smart enough to not have to use force. Like he just would scare people into.
He was that intimidating. That's
Yeah.
rough. I have seen
Nada
the
Nada
pictures of
too. He
him.
says he met Blackbeard in North Carolina. Now the North Carolina bit Nada's
There you
talking
go.
about I
I
think
didn't know
is
Blackbeard was still
legit.
alive 300 years later.
No, I didn't know that Nada was born in 1700. Is what I'm. That's more what I'm thinking. But so no, I've just been kind of on that. So it's kind of been a big week recap because in the last week or two I've been on that kick for me.
Yeah.
I mean, um, what has been the main thing in your past week or so, John? Have you been
You know what? That it's been the sea shanty thing for me and setting up this
that for
deal.
you?
This setup
That's right.
took me
That's
a
right. I
week,
asked you
people.
that earlier, and
This I know, but then nobody.
put you on
James
the
isn't
spot because
complimenting
I
yet.
know that. Yeah. Go ahead.
There's a lot. I mean, there's a lot that goes into this. It's curated. These two are together. We got so at the
This
record
is
TV up
so
here.
good. Our dad
Okay.
comments here. He says, "I
Oh, here
wasn't
we go.
disabled."
The drama continues.
Dad, she must have done something on her end. I
Must
did
have.
not.
Yeah.
Nobody's unless someone got into our account.
Yeah,
I've
we
been
didn't
here
disable our
talking. I
mother.
mean, I'm not
We
disabling while talking. So I mean,
we would
maybe when
never
John
hear
was
the
doing
end
his
of that.
bit.
Like we would never ever
So
live that
I didn't
down.
mention that we see David Curry's in here.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
That's
So
fantastic.
I think he said hi earlier, and he sent a lull
Right
in
on.
chat
Well,
here. So
if
thanks,
it's the
David, for
David
being
Curry
here.
I know, then he also is quite a musician himself and knows a lot of sea shanties. Harmonica player. He and I used to work together at Cook's Fine Foods downtown Kingston. Which, if anybody has not visited downtown Kingston, one of the uh, first things you've got to do downtown when everything opens up again is to go check out Cook's Fine Foods, wonderfully family-owned business. It's one of the oldest, food shops, in the area, and it opened in 1836, I believe. 1865 is when it opened. Excuse me. And the same family has owned it since the 1920s. And Dave used to sell cheese there, and Dave knows all those maritime jams. Like, I'm sure he knows the Wellerman, and he's
Oh,
probably been playing
actually,
the Wellerman.
he's the perfect guy to have in here for that
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, I bet you
You're
Dave has
right.
been playing the Wellerman, that Wellerman song, or singing that Wellerman
Oh,
song
he's got to
for
get on
years.
TikTok here.
I know, Dave.
Get his
You could
tunes
blow
out
up
there.
on TikTok, man. That's fantastic.
And then one other thing that kind of led out of this this kind of ocean pirate kind of vibe that I've been in is thinking about how just thinking about obviously they a big driving force for pirates and for in the ocean kind of world was gold, right? And we
Oh
talk
yeah,
and now speaking of our
yeah.
dad, it
Well,
kind
it's
of
everything.
piqued my memory of we've talked about in prior podcasts about how maybe getting into the hobby of prospecting a little bit.
We have.
And our dad apparently had thought about that before with there's websites all over the place with prospecting gear and whatnot. But I found a video of the 21st century prospecting, and I was pretty blown away with, because right now a big story is kind of how Bitcoin, the price of Bitcoin, it was big in 2016, but it's skyrocketed
Right.
again. In over the new year, it's gone up to like $50,000 a coin or something,
Whoa.
which is crazy.
So can you own fractions of a coin then? Is that how it works?
Yeah, like
Okay.
in 2016, I bought like a fraction of a coin. Like I didn't have a coin, but and then it just skyrocketed again. Not to blow
Toot
my
your
own horn
horn.
here, but but so I found, so it was such a weird juxtaposition of like this old, very old, several 100-year-old kind of mindset, and then finding a bunch of information on some of these new, it's basically like computer farms that they have in warehouses and stuff. Have you heard of this?
No, not really.
We
Like,
got,
so what do you like
in the last
what,
10 minutes or so.
well, I've
I
heard
thought
of
we could bring this
Bitcoin,
up.
but
Yeah.
yeah, but I'm interested in knowing what so what you're
Here, let me just find
farming
this
the
video.
gold, like what's how does
Well,
the
it'll explain it in this video too here.
Oh, look, James has a nice video queued up. Look
Hold
at
on.
you. Look at he's got the instructional. That's lovely.
So
While you're
basically,
pulling that video up, though, speaking of the prospecting, I just discovered this about Dad, James. By the way, so our dad is a judge. He is he was a lawyer for many years before that. He's been a man of the law for as long as we know. But we were out cutting wood, and he says because he starts talking about different like landforms all the time. He's like, oh yeah, that's a drumlin, or that's a fissure, or I can't even remember all the different. He's got this geography and geology knowledge that you wouldn't believe. And he said to me, he said, yeah, if I wasn't a lawyer, or I didn't end up going into the policing and stuff like that, I might have been a geologist. Dad said that.
wow.
I might have been a geologist. Like a completely, I never would have guessed that. But no wonder he's all big into this gold prospecting thing. It's not just prospecting for gold.
I didn't
it's
actually
like
know that, John.
Dad and his sort of like hobby obsession with landforms and rocks and stuff. He loved it. He had a great geography teacher when he was at Sydenham High School as a kid. That's what got him into it. So James is
So
doing.
this is the 21st
mining,
century mining.
Right.
It's not as much pirating, but it just it's
right.
kind of just this weird juxtaposition of
This is
the new
millennial
gold
version
almost.
of prospecting.
A Bitcoin mine.
Right now, the world is basically in the middle of a second gold rush. But the thing is, it's not gold that people are actually after this time around. It's Bitcoin, the biggest, baddest cryptocurrency on the planet. But the thing about Bitcoin is that because it's a digital currency,
Thanks,
you
Linda.
obviously can't just dig it out of the ground with a pickaxe. So to get a better sense of how cryptocurrency mining works, we're here in northern Washington to visit one of the biggest Bitcoin mines in the United States and to see what goes on behind the scenes.
Dad says fishers are fur-bearing mammals. I meant FISSURES or URS.
Look at this
Fishers on
though.
the rock.
Look at this. It's just a bunch of
The whirring sound you're
processors, I
hearing
think.
is the
This is
sound of 1,800 servers
Servers.
computing. This
That's what my
is
fan sounds like
a
when I plug
mining
everything into my
facility.
computer.
So we operate ASIC servers.
Have you mentioned, John, that how you're getting your laptop to work right now, or your
No, I haven't. I have
your-
to tell her. Okay, listen. Just thanks for pausing it.
just
James.
in juxtaposition to
quickly.
this all these servers.
All these servers with the fans on.
Technology.
So my computer, it's a few years old now. It must have a lot of dust in it. All I do is plug in my mic and plug in my camera, and my fan goes crazy, and it gets so hot that the camera cuts out. So I literally have ice packs under all of my stuff.
Ice
so that
packs.
I'm not going to take the one out from underneath the computer because it's this big. They're the ice packs that I have in the freezer, and I'm keeping my
Servers
computer and
specifically
stuff cool.
Sorry.
for the Bitcoin blockchain protocol. As you can see, it's a warehouse environment. Our facilities manufacture about 7 Bitcoin per day.
The servers in this room do that by solving
7
a difficult
Bitcoin.
math problem
Right
called
now,
a
that's like
cryptographic
hundreds of
hashing
thousands of
function.
dollars a day,
In the
John.
simplest possible terms, they're solving a puzzle that's generated by the Bitcoin network. About every 10 minutes, a new puzzle or block in the chain is released. The reward for solving that puzzle is currently 12.5 Bitcoins. Working together, all the Bitcoin miners on Earth unlock about 1,800 Bitcoins each day, and about 0.4% of those are mined in this very room. That doesn't sound like a lot, but when we filmed this video, this Bitcoin mine generated about $70,000
Yeah,
a
and this
day.
is old. This is
That's
2018.
$2.1 million a month.
It was
all in
$50,000
this
a
one
coin
room.
like a week
These are
ago.
ASIC processors, application-specific integrated circuits. The chip design is specifically to run the protocol that is Bitcoin blockchain. It's code, right? It's specifically a chip designed to run that code at a much higher rate of speed. So what you have to understand about Bitcoin is it's a commodity. Most of the world doesn't understand it's actually code with an underlying technology value.
Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies are decentralized, with every transaction being recorded in the blockchain ledger. Bitcoin mining is essentially processing those transactions and adding links to the blockchain. Each link in the chain created every 10 minutes contains about 2,500 transactions.
It's held speculatively, okay? So how much money do you make every day is a function of not when we create it. It's a function of when we sell it. So what do? We manufacture it continuously, we hold it for when the price runs up, and then we sell it. We take.
So that's basically now.
Okay, so
They-
wait.
so they
wait,
in
wait.
2018 they were making it, and they might have sold a portion of it, but I'm sure that these folks here would have sold like a ton in the last
Yeah, but okay,
week
but
or
what,
two.
what,
So it's a weird new world, John. I thought I would at least enlighten you on what the
Wow.
future of
I'm
kind of
semi-enlightened.
future gold.
Because
Although
what,
people
okay,
might
but they're
there's probably
manufacturing
people.
code, right? They're manufacturing code, and people are like, but they mine by unlocking the code, and then they get coins from that. But what do they get out of it? Like they're like what
mean
they
they?
just what are the people manufacturing the Bitcoin codes like? I mean, I
They get
get
value.
mining for gold. I get mining for gold because gold has sellable value because you can turn it into things. You can use it in manufacturing applications. You can use it for, rings and jewelry. And like, I get the value, right? But I don't get the value of a code just because we've assigned a, a hype. I mean, I know it's worth something, but it's all hypothetical, right? Because it's just the market. But they're just manufacturing codes to unlock it.
Okay, are you done?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's the same. It would basically be saying the same thing as why do we all agree that like a piece of paper, it has any value? You know what I mean?
Well, right. I know.
Now there might be other reasons why it has value. Someone like our friend Duncan might be able to explain that better for me.
Yeah, he's an
there might be
economist.
additional value to it other than it just kind of being an agreed upon thing. But
Right, but we don't have government
it's certainly a
bodies
proprietary kind of.
printing paper money and then having people sort of unlock it to win it. That's what I don't understand about it.
Unlock it to win it. Yeah. Anyways, I don't think
yeah.
we're the ones to have this conversation.
We
I
aren't.
was
I
just
don't
trying.
think
I was
we're
just
winning.
trying to enlighten you on what's going on, John. And this
Yeah,
was
just
2
so I'm
years
up to
ago.
date.
This is 2 years ago. We're 2 years behind this
Wow.
this kind of piece here, and
Yeah.
we still don't understand a quarter of it. So
No. But you own
anyways,
some, so.
it made me. No, I sold mine when it was.
Oh, good
yeah.
for you. That's nice.
Um,
I'm still
but-
cutting wood to heat my house, James. That's that's
Yeah.
where I'm at.
But I just thought that was coming. It was off of my sort of line of thinking with some of this stuff that I've been doing, and I just thought that
Right.
that would be something that would be interesting for you to watch, John, and kind
It
of
is
learn about.
it is the gold of today. Listen. I mean, it's around. I think it's here to stay.
Just
I
it's a
remember-
weird thing to see
It's
right
weird.
after talking about the ocean and all this stuff. In terms of the way life used to be with real things in the
Well,
real world,
and
and now it's.
People will pirate for this thing. I mean, if they haven't
Oh.
already, they will pirate for this
Yeah,
thing.
I think it's pretty secure, but I agree.
Well,
Tony, you
you
know
know,
what? Thank you, Tony.
the king's gold was secure way back in the day when they were robbing the king's ships in order to be able to.
That's what I'm saying.
Blackbeard.
Tony says it was interesting, so I appreciate that. I'm glad Tony was
no,
interested in
it was
that.
James. Thanks for educating me. It is nice when James brings me up to speed on tech stuff because I'm kind of behind.
So Dad, and us getting into the old prospecting
Prospecting.
thing might be a a little behind, but whatever. It
Yeah,
could be a fun.
and,
It could be a fun pastime.
Dad wasn't locked out of the stream and Facebook, but Mom has clearly been somehow locked out of the.
Yeah, we
being
got to
able
look into
comment.
that. We definitely got to look into that.
Some crypto gremlins going on there.
One thing this week, while I was thinking about some of this pirate stuff, I kind of wanted to make a pirate hat
Oh,
out of do it yourself.
hey man,
And I
COVID,
found
you gotta come up with new crafts.
I found the weirdest do it yourself video of, I'm assuming it's someone that is is not English, but
Oh,
there's,
I love those.
do you want to see it?
Yeah,
The
let's
last
watch it. We might as well take it out with this.
Okay. Can you please
We made a
explain what
whole
this is?
show we made a whole show about ocean
Can you explain?
pirates
Can you
sailing.
explain what's happening in this, John?
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, just
You're gonna have to tell me.
this was
But
this
you-
was
you
weird.
gotta
Dude.
find new
This was weird.
crafts,
Okay, hold on
obviously.
here. I didn't know if I was gonna show this, but whatever. Okay, so it's paper pirate hat. I didn't have any construction paper, so I couldn't do it. First of all, what's this? It's like some metropolis, right? You see this?
Yeah. Wow.
Okay. Okay, this guy is on the top of the city.
What?
Alright, go up with Ace, thank you, Sonson.
Oh, okay, that's his thing. That's his podcast. I get it now. Feels like soundtrack is done by
Okay.
sixpence none the richer.
Okay, so that's one of my things.
Ooh, nice.
I understand. Okay, first of all, I don't understand why he's on the top of the city, making crafts. But
I think we're gonna have to investigate that.
besides that,
That's it. That's all. That's all he did.
No. Besides that, I find it really interesting that there's perpetual street sounds behind the music.
Oh,
Just wait. You hear the
Wizard
bus?
Pro.
The-
Yeah.
there's-
Oh, yeah. He's impressed. I love
Can
it.
you explain this to me, John?
No, I can't. This is a complete.
Do you
Is
hear
this
the
like
honks?
Art
Do you hear
Attack
the s-
in Germany or something?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's kind of like Art Attack, like when we
Anybody
were kids.
watch
But
Art Attack when you were kids? Art Attack was incredible.
do you hear the street sounds?
Yeah, I do, but I don't get it because he's way up.
Anyways,
way
I was
high.
so confused. You know, the hat. Let's just see what the hat looks like though
I
at the
think
end.
challenge you to make this hat. Oh, he's got the patch. That's actually pretty good.
I was gonna attempt this, but I didn't have the stuff.
That must be a kids program, maybe. But I will say that is a decent
Okay, that's
hat
enough
made
of
out
that.
construction
That's enough
paper,
of that.
and, I'm expecting you to make one and be a pirate for next Halloween, James. Like if you can remember, I actually have a running list in my phone. Anytime I come up with a Halloween costume, I don't know. I never go out trick or treating, obviously anymore. But anytime I come up with a Halloween costume, it's never near Halloween, never. So I have a running list in my phone, on my notes of Halloween costume ideas. I'll share it with you sometime.
David says you can't make Bitcoin into jewelry. That's true.
That's right. I agree, David. That's my take.
I'm still not quite
Okay.
sure what that our dad was saying with Esker, John. Do you know what that means?
Oh, out of context, I'm not sure.
Yeah. And Tony said
Yeah.
I should watch The Curse
Oh,
of Oak
Eskers.
Island.
Yeah, that's another landform. He was talking about Eskers and drumlins and all that. Yeah.
Well, this has been an interesting week. I mean, I don't know. I thought it was fun, but
Okay, big thing about off-road, folks. I mean, you have to understand this about James and I is we are the king of tangents, and that's why partly why we called it off-road, James. Right? We go off-road. on our
Brian
on
says
topics.
our dad says Esker is a geological formation.
There you go.
So we've been learning lots this week, myself included.
It's very
And
educational.
it's been a sea shanty week. Do you have any final thoughts, John?
No, James. Well, let's end it on on sea shanty. That's the note to end it on. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us every week. And we filled an hour.
Let me
talking about the ocean.
let me finish with another explanation why I'm on this. Okay, so Alistair, or otherwise known as Obadiah, on here says I think Unity Everett should wear a pirate hat next time he plays Sea of Thieves. So I have a Twitch channel, Unity Everett, and I
Right.
sometimes will play. And there's this pirate game, John, Sea of Thieves. It is something else. Love it.
Ooh.
Love it.
Well, I'm gonna have to do it now. I'm in the
So
mood.
maybe I should wear a pirate hat next time I play
Make
that
yourself a
game.
construction paper pirate hat.
It's kind of a
James. I wanna
cartoony
see it
pirate
next
thing.
week.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Thank
wanna
you,
see it next
thank you,
week.
Julie. Appreciate that. Anyways,
Awesome.
I don't have any uncopyright sea shanties to play it with, but we can play it out with some non-copyright lo-fi jams here, John.
There you go.
And we appreciate you guys. Thanks so much. We love hanging with you guys. And Amy, have a great week. Thanks to everybody else that's joined in. Any final thoughts?
Oh, you're awesome.
Debbie
James.
also.
I love you.
Oh, maybe we mentioned Debbie. Anyways, yeah, you're all good.
Yeah, you're a good guy, man. I love spending every Monday with you. It's so good.
All right. Hope to see you guys again next Monday. We really appreciate you guys spending some time with us. We have audio versions on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts. Spotify, maybe not. I don't know. I didn't think about that. Maybe, I think so. And
check that out.
Overcast. I use Overcast. Anything else, John? We still
You've
haven't
asked
made.
me
We
that
still
3
haven't
times now.
made
I don't
our
have anything else.
anything else to update them with. We still haven't made our first TikTok, so we gotta.
We gotta do that.
That
Well,
people
we
are
s-
saying maybe a sea shanty as the first one, but we'll see. We'll see.
Hey, we can jump in on the action.
And we'll be back next week. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.